Welcome to the most electrifying channel in all entertainment. This is your boy PK. Today I want to talk about this article written in Forbes by a guy named Paul Tassi. This guy has written a lot of articles in the past, mainly for positive news for PlayStation, which is totally fine. This is his thing. He likes or prefers PlayStation as his favorite console. Going forward, he wrote this article to defend himself, which I hardly ever see. And I feel like if you have to defend yourself, there's gotta be something here that is hitting a nerve that might have some truth to it. So he writes an article about being or anti-Xbox bias, and it goes on where he talks about how he's getting yelled at more online about it every day. And to me, it's, you know, no matter what you write, it's to be expected. People are going to not like everything that you do. But if you don't have basically thick skin, then it will get to you, or there is some truth to what they're saying to you. I don't know exactly what these people are saying to him online, but I'm willing to bet that it has hit a nerve for him to go all out and write this article on Forbes to defend himself. So I was reading this article and it goes on to talk about his opinion on, or his preference, trying to basically go over why he plays games and which console he prefers and what is perceived anti-Xbox biased. And he says it's not possible for people to own all the platforms and divide its time up with each platform equally. And you know, I guess that could be true. I mean, I own all the platforms, but I do play all of them. I won't say equally because it, you know, there's a lot of games that just does not appeal to me on the PlayStation hardware as much as it does on the Switch, Xbox, and PC. But that's just me. Going forward, we'll talk about this guy, and he talks about his history of playing games here. And some stuff kind of stuck out to me. And he says, you know, he wants to say that there is facts, or some facts are just facts. And he wants to reiterate on the failure of the Xbox launch and just the number of sales versus the Xbox. And this tells me that this is why he's incurring this kind of backlash. It's because this thing, you know, listen to this. It sounds like to me that when you compare and contrast a lot, that comes off as a negative thing, right? It's one thing to celebrate something that is good and positive and like it, but it's another thing to just tear down, no matter if you're nitpicking with facts. Because let's be real, there is no way that you can absolutely say that Sony has done everything correct when it comes to consumers, when it comes to the PS4. It may have sold well, it might have done well, but that doesn't mean they made all the right choices, right? That just means that they did good on a lot of fronts that the Xbox failed at. And that's just talking about the Xbox versus PlayStation. It does not mention the Switch here, which I thought was interesting, since the Switch have shown that it has sold a very good growth this generation. Again, this is another meaning to this on why it's perceived to be negative. Think about it. If he's only comparing the PlayStation to Xbox and not even mentioning the Switch, not saying that they're the same in power and none of that, but in terms of sales growth and the way it has hit the market, then what are we doing here? It's almost like you're putting more fire or flames to this console war. Then he goes on to say what the exclusives that he says, well, you know, I play these games that are on the PlayStation, and he struggles to find anything outside of Forza and Ori that he likes to play. And you know, that's fine, he has a preference, but it seems like since he doesn't have time to play all the games, it doesn't seem like he has had time to even try any of the Microsoft games. Let's just keep going. He comes down to talk about the upcoming console war, and he says that he doesn't know which one is better, PS5 or Xbox Series X. But you know, he says he doesn't know the clear winner, but he goes on to what I want to talk about is when he talks about Game Pass. And this is what I do, and I'm kind of reading to understand. He says Game Pass is the best deal in gaming, might even be the best deal in and entertainment, considering it's going to integrate services like xCloud. But his one issue for him personally, which is, again, this seems like a personal thing that he wrote for readers to read. He says that Game Pass has too much content, too many games, to the point where he misses them because there's not enough for him to try them all. So it seems like to me that Xbox does have a lot of games to try, but he doesn't try them because he's busy playing the other games that he prefer to play. Not Ghost of Tsushima, even though he has played that, but he's playing Destiny 2. He's playing all the multiplayers, but normally on the PlayStation. So he doesn't have time to play any of the games on the Game Pass. So how can he judge any of that stuff? So it is a personal preference, but he's trying to ride the fence as if he is neutral. That is just not accurate, at least reading what he wrote here. There is no way you can say that Game Pass has too much content when you're not even trying them. That's why he says he will not use Game Pass. Then he goes on the recent releases, Last of Us 2 having issues, but still a good title, and Ghost of Tsushima. But again, these are his preferences. Me personally, I don't like those kind of games. They're not for me, but I've never crapped on them and say they're terrible just because they're on PlayStation. I have my favorite PlayStation games. They're just not these. I could talk about my favorites in another video, but this one in particular, I'm looking at this and he's talking about the Halo reveal not looking good, and he feels like this is just a bad deal for Microsoft. Here it is again, something where he's looking at it, but he hasn't tried it. He doesn't mention anything about the recently game released and game preview called Grounded, which has hit the top of the charts on Steam and is one of the most viewed games on Twitch. He doesn't mention any of these things, and this is what I'm getting at. And he goes on and on about why he doesn't see why he should be taking this kind of flack. And in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, and you guys can let me know if I'm wrong, reading what he's written here, and I looked in his past articles and some of his social media things he put out there, it appears to me that he prefers to play on the PlayStation, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. We can own all the consoles and still have preferences. What I don't understand is that he does not see the fact that he is only picking facts that push the narrative of the PlayStation being the better console. The thing is, it's okay to feel like whichever console you feel is the best. It's okay to have those preferences. The thing is, you cannot sit here and write positive articles about one side and no positive articles to the other side and expect not to get backlash. Not to mention, you are comparing and contrasting the PlayStation versus Xbox. You're not mentioning anything about the Epic Store and how messed up that is versus Steam. You're not saying anything about the Switch. You're not writing any positive articles about anything else. You're focusing on the PlayStation. And there is nothing wrong with you having a preference, but you have to be honest about yourself. Maybe go back and read your articles to see how it appears that even when you do write somewhat of a positive article, it seems like it's a hollow point compared to the exciting detail that you put in when you write about the PlayStation and the games you enjoy playing. That's all for me, guys. Hey, let me know what you think. Am I wrong about this, or is it definitely a preference thing, and is he definitely wrong? And there definitely some sort of anti-Xbox bias. I think that there is definitely somewhat of a bias or a preference involved in a lot of these articles and people writing. Definitely. Anyways, if you can, put it down in the description and tell me what you think. Let me know if I'm wrong. And click the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.